Live in rainy San Francisco at Candlestick Park, the NFC Championship game between the Dallas Cowboys being introduced right now and the San Francisco 49ers. I'm Pat Summerall here with John Madden. And John, a lot of talk about the weather, the field, all that kind of stuff, but you just have to put that out of your mind.
And I think now, just watching the Cowboys go out there for their introduction, that's the last thing in their mind. They were out here, they tried the field out. They know what that is. Jimmy Johnson said, hey, forget about the field. Just go out and play. And they know that they're 60 minutes or one football game away from going to the Super Bowl, and that is all that's on any of their minds.
All right, John, let's go down now as the 49ers are being introduced. John Taylor, back from injury, their outstanding wide receiver.
Here's a guy who has a big job today, Steve Wallace. He's going to have to block Charles Haley, and he's fired up.
What did he say? He was going to come out nasty.
Well, I think this whole offensive line is going to have their job cut out today, because I think eventually they're going to have to be able to get to the run, but they're going to have to start out by pass protecting.
Well, they do a lot of pulling on their sweeps. The Cowboys don't do that. If the field does get bad, that could be a factor, I suppose.
Well, we can talk about all these skilled position guys, but those guys who were just introduced, that offensive lineman, that's where the game is won and lost, right in the trenches.
Jerry Rice.
You're going into a big game, you want number 80 on your side.
Everyone. There's Steve Young, the MVP's most valuable player. Ricky Waters, he brings a missing element.
You talk about energy, that guy is the most energetic football player I've ever seen.
And it just goes on and on.
These guys are ready, man.
The crowd's ready, and so are we. As the 49ers have just been introduced, Steve Young and company ready to go against the Dallas Cowboys for the NFC Championship. Hi, I'm Pat Summerall with John Madden. We've heard about the condition of the field. We heard about these being the two best teams in pro football. They both deserve to be here, but they've still got to play. Yeah,
and I think that's a great thing about it. I mean, ultimately, eventually, they have to get out there in the football field and do it, and they know that the time is now. As Jimmy Johnson says, we can't talk about the field. We can't worry about it. We just have to go out and play on it. And when you think of a wet field and a muddy field, you always think of running. I think this game is eventually going to get to running. I think it's going to get to Emmitt Smith and Ricky Waters. But first, I think you have to pass. I think you have to pass early. I think you have to pass to loosen them up, and then go to the running game later.
Emmitt Smith, who should play such a key role in this contest. The 49ers will be on offense first. And that first strike could be very, very important on a day like today.
Usually on a day like today, as I was just saying, the field is as good as it's going to get right now. So if you have some big plays in mind, if you want to get deep, if you want to throw the ball, you have to throw it early. Hope you get your lead, and then keep your lead later in the game with the running game.
Temperature 52 degrees. The wind southeast 15 to 25 miles an hour. They won't feel much of that down on the field, but they will feel the rain. It's been raining since early this morning. About a half hour ago, the sun came out, but not for long. Short kickoff by Elliott, and now they blow it dead. They weren't ready to start yet. That seems strange after all this get-ready time.
Well, the championship game, you're waiting for the championship game. We can't wait to get out there and start the game.
Well, you remember that happened in the Super Bowl last year.
The signal was not given to the kicker.
See, the kicker has to wait until he gets the signal and the whistle, and that's what starts the game. But those guys get up there, they're anxious, and some of the craziest guys in football are those guys that are on cover teams, and they're yelling at the kicker, kick the ball, kick the ball.
They're supposed to be. Jerry Markbright is the referee, by the way. He was the referee in the Super Bowl when they did the same thing. Well, different kicker.
At least Elliott gets to loosen that ball up again.
That was not much of a kick. Troy Aikman.
He's so nervous, he's still getting dressed. He didn't even get dressed in the house all the way. At least he's probably taking some stuff off. I think you don't want to wear a lot of clothes in a game like this because you have more stuff to get wet.
And when it gets wet, of course it gets heavy. Mark Logan at about the 6. Dallas down in good shape. Steve Young. What a year he had. Will quarterback the 49ers. In front of him, Wallace, McIntyre, Sapolo, Foster, Harris, Barton, and Brent Jones, the tight end. Ricky Waters and Rathman, the 2 runners, and Rice and Taylor will be the wide receivers. 1st and 10 San Francisco at the 21. Last week against the Redskins, Young 20 out of 30. He came out firing. He'll do the same. Brent Jones, 1st down at the 35. Robert Jones made the stop. Haley, Maryland, Casillas, and Tolbert up front. In the Dallas 4-3 set, Norton, Jones, and Vincent Smith behind them. Brown and Kevin Smith, the cornerbacks. Washington and Everett are the 2 safeties. Kevin Smith just taken off the field, and Isaac Hope replaces him at left corner. That happened on the first play. This time it's Waters, pursued by the #1 defense in the NFL. Larry Brown led the pursuit.
You know, one of the interesting thing about that Dallas Cowboy defense is we know that the 49ers script their first 15 plays. So in talking to Dave Wanstadt, the defensive coordinator, and to Jimmy Johnson, what they said they wanted to do was script their first 15 defensive plays that would be unlike anything they've ever done before. So after 15 plays, the 49ers aren't going to know any more about the defense than they did before.
Look for us, he said, to do something different, like blitz in this 2nd and long situation. And here they come. Young just did get rid of it to Rice. Chased by Hope. Touchdown 49ers. Flag on the play. Penalty marker back at the line of scrimmage.
And it's against the 49ers. You can tell the way they're reacting. But like I said, if you're going to get a big play, you're going to go for the big throw. On a day like this, on a field like this, get it early.
62, offense. 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
The 49ers did, but they had holding on their left guard, Guy McIntyre. Let's watch McIntyre. He's right there. He's a left guard, number 62. You see Charles Haley starts to the inside. McIntyre was blocking against him. And, of course, right at the end, he may have gone for that left leg of Haley's. But Charles Haley is a guy who is going to cause havoc with this 49er team today.
He's been causing havoc all week, telling people the characteristics of the 49ers with whom he played for so long. 2nd and 18. The Cowboys just dodged a bullet. Kevin Smith back at the cornerback now. Hope is out. They go deep again. Too deep.
You know, one thing that's interesting, Pat, you know, the Cowboys are not a blitzing team. They don't do a lot of blitzing. The first time they blitzed, they really got burned by it. Jerry Rice on a touchdown. So I will bet we don't see much blitzing by the Cowboys anymore today.
Well, it was a different kind of blitz, too. Most of the time, they don't bring the linebackers. They did. Usually, it comes from one of the 2 defensive backs.
Well, that's one of those paralysis from analysis.
Yep.
You know, you think too much, you're going to throw their script off, you throw yourself off.
Young to throw it. Quarterback draw. This was planned. Young down just outside the 35 by Darren Woodson. 11-yard scramble. But I guess if it's planned, you don't call it a scramble, do you?
He saw that right away. He had the lead block in there. And you'll see he's going to start back. Now he's looking for the lane. They double team the thing. You see the fullback leads through. Tom Rathman leads. It's really a lead draw to the quarterback. The only thing in, that was a heck of a play by number 28, Darren Woodson.
He's a good player. Wilmsmeyer gets off a good punt. Martin shook one tackler. but just briefly, as Odessa Turner did a heck of a job. He was down under. Martin got away from him, and Turner came back and got him. 0-0 in the NFC Championship. Dallas and San Francisco. Troy Aikman, the quarterback for the Cowboys. A fine offensive line in front of him. Tuine, Newton, Stepnoski, Giesick, and Eric Williams. Novacek, the tight end. Emmett Smith and Darrell Johnston, the two runners. Mostly Smith. Irvin and Harvard, the wide receivers. They're both left. Novacek, the tight end, on the right. And Aikman. Irvin. First down, Cowboys. Good throw, good pattern. Stopped by Griffin. The 49er defense. Fagan, Carter, and Holt in front. Romanowski, Walter, DeLong, and Harris, the linebackers. Griffin and Davis, the cornerbacks. Hall and Whitmore, the safeties.
Well, in a big game, you have to go to your big player, and one of the biggest players on this Cowboy team all year has been Michael Irvin. Do what he did. He gave that double move there. He made him think he was going deep. Don Griffin pushed him off and then ran the out on him. 1st and 10 Cowboys. Fake to Smith. Aikman to fullback Darrell Johnston. Near first down yardage again. That got about 9.5 if it didn't get the first. Keith DeLong tripped him up. Johnston, I was talking to before the game. He'd had both knees troubling him. He had one of them drained before the game, and he said they felt pretty good. He's a key element that doesn't get much recognition. Well, he does, because he's the guy that has to make all the adjustments. He's the guy that has to do all the lead blocking for Emmitt Smith that, and eventually in this game, is going to be a big part of the game. And, of course, he is a big receiver also. 2 plays, 2 first downs. And he got a good test for his knee right here in the play. Watch, he takes a hit right there on the knee. And you know, one thing you know about this field, I always think when you have a wet field, you're going to have fewer injuries. The other thing is you can take a hit in the knee, and it's not as dangerous when your foot is not planted in the ground. Well, that's so true. 1st and 10. Dallas. Emmitt Smith's first carry. Not a good one. Tim Harris wrapped up Emmitt Smith. A loss of 2. Well, you know, the Dallas Cowboys always run inside between the tackles. This starts inside between the tackles and then bounces out. When we were talking to Emmitt Smith yesterday, he said that he thought they could get outside, that he thought that he could take some bounce outs. And I think before you take the bounce outs, you got to make them play the inside stuff first. They were playing for a bounce out. Well, as you said to Emmitt yesterday, do you find it's tougher to run early? And I think he attested to that, and just did again. Intended for Darrell Johnston, incomplete. 3rd down and about 12 coming. Yeah, it's interesting, though. I think with both of these teams, Pat, you think about Emmitt Smith and you think about Ricky Waters and running, but they're both starting off with the passing game. And as Jimmy Johnson says, you have to loosen this defense up first before Emmitt is really going to be effective. 3rd and 12. Dallas at their own 41-yard line. 49ers got the kickoff, had the punt. They had a touchdown to Rice, called back. And now Dallas, 3rd and long. Novacek. Not quite enough for the first. Magruder knocked him out of bounds, about a yard shy. I'll tell you one thing we're going to see in this game from both defenses is very good tackling. I think the best thing about the Cowboy defense is their nickel defense, and they're tackling in the nickel defense, and the same thing with the 49ers. And that was just a heck of a tackle from their nickel defense. Mike Saxon back deep. Good punt for the Cowboys. Darrell Johnson setting things up. Again, he's a very key part of this. Saxon doesn't get it all. Fumble, and Darrell Johnson comes up with the ball in the air and gets the recovery for the Cowboys. It was a short kick by Saxon. You know, Jimmy Johnson always says there's three areas. There's offense, defense, and the kicking game. And he says the area that we're going to win is the kicking game. And it starts right here. There's a heck of a hit. The ball bounces out. There's Darrell Johnston to get it. The guy that made the hit was Dixon Edwards. Watch him, 58. Boom, he gets in there, hits right on the ball. The ball comes out. Darrell Johnston caught it on a fly.
First down, Dallas, after all that, at the 49er 22.
That was a heck of a hit by Dixon Edwards.
Well, that's the phase, as you said, that he thought he could win. Irvin hangs on. First and goal at the 1.
I'll tell you one thing about Michael Irvin. He is a tough receiver. You know a lot about these guys that'll catch you ups and stuff. But he'll go inside, have that concentration, know that he's going to get hit. In this case, when he comes to the inside there on Eric Davis, he knows that safety is going to be right there to hit him, but he concentrates, catches that ball, and will go in there with as much enthusiasm as he does outside plays.
He took a second leg from Hall and still hung on. First and goal at the 1. Johnson and Smith. That's him and Smith, nothing. Maybe lost a yard. Michael Carter quickly into the secondary.
Remember last week they got down here and they threw a play pass. They threw it to Derek Tennell. He was wide open. Talking to Norv Turner last night. And he said this 49er defense, when you get down in the goal line, is really tough. Especially if you don't block number 95, the nose tackle. And when he's going in the direction that you're going to run, that is impossible.
That's a pretty tough load to make change directions.
Even slow up and go in that direction. Michael Carter wants to go in a direction. Michael Carter goes in that direction.
Because he's from Dallas. Here's Aikman looking. No, the check incomplete. Good coverage. Merton Hanks right with Novacek.
That first down play was so big because they stopped him, and really they made a passing down out of this. They roll out here. Merton Hanks has great coverage there on Jay Novacek. But the first down play made that play happen. Now they get second incomplete. Now they get third down. Now the 49ers can bring in their nickel because this is a true passing down.
And the Cowboys have brought in their passing package. They took out Gogan. They took out the extra tight end. Now they have the 3 wide receivers. Novacek on the move. Aikman back to throw it. Looking is Aikman out of the end zone. They'll have to settle for 3, but that's going to be tricky on a field like this.
Hey, that was a heck of a goal line stand here. These 49er fans realize it because they gave a turnover. Their defense came in and did the job that they had to do. The big play was that first down run to Emmitt Smith, the big play on defense by Carter.
Steve Berline is the holder. Elliott will try for the field goal. This will be about 20 yards. Dallas 3, San Francisco nothing. 8:20 left to play in the first quarter. The Cowboys break on top. Back at Candlestick Park in San Francisco, the rain is just about stopped as Elliott kicks off to the 1 to Logan. At midfield. Knocked out by Gant.
You know, it's funny how you think about these big games and the championship games and you forget that kicking game. You know, that is such a big part. Coaches will say it, and they'll say the kicking game and the offense and the defense. Then you get into a game and you realize the kicking game really got the Cowboys their first 3 points, gave them the momentum, and then this is a part of a kicking game here, bringing the ball back, getting inside the 50-yard line. That is great field position.
First and 10 in Dallas territory at about their 48. Young back to throw it. Outside Rathman. Rathman out of bounds about a foot shy, it appears, from first down yardage. There's Dixon Edwards.
Yeah, he's the guy that caused that fumble. If you say, how did the Cowboys get their first 3 points, I would think you would have to give the credit to Dixon Edwards. Of course, had it not been for Michael Carter, instead of 3, that could have been a 7-point play.
That looks more like a cramp.
Yeah, they're trying to rub it out.
Yeah.
That's always good when they try and rub it. When they start twisting and turning to check, that's not always as good a news.
They're going to measure, and the chain gang had to come from all the way on the other side of the field to see if it was a first down, and it is.
Yeah, the interesting thing that I thought the 49ers were getting in a rut, throwing to the left all the time. We're getting in a real strong left-handed throwing tendency. One thing in this first quarter that they've come out to do is dispel that and go to the right. That last pass completion was just to the right. The big touchdown that was called back to Jerry Rice was from the right-hand side.
That's one of those things you probably do by scouting yourself. This is Waters with room. Ricky Waters out of bounds at about the 22.5-yard line. Picked up 16. Stopped by Brown.
Ricky Waters is a fun player to watch. He'd be a fun player to play with, and the coach, I don't know how much fun he would be to have to play against, but this guy is just moving all the time. Watch him. It's a lead draw. He leaves Rathman there. Rathman went in the 5-hole. Ricky Waters takes it in the 7-hole, outruns the secondary, has the straight arm, the celebrations. This Ricky Waters has everything.
All the elements.
He's a fun guy. I mean, he was ready to play on Friday. They could have brought the Cowboys in now.
Here's Young. Put to the Waters. Spins away from Brown to about the 14. Vincent Smith took him down.
The first thing they have to do, Pat, is take care of Charles Haley. Get him blocked. They know that to be able to throw the ball, they're going to have to block Charles Haley. There's Steve Wallace. He's going to block him every different way you can. But you don't want to just do it one way. That time, he cut him. There's no one better than this spinning than Ricky Waters.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, anyone could go out there and spin, but knowing how to do it and when to do it makes a special guy.
At the 15. Waters again. This time, not much room. Maybe a yard. Remember, Ricky Waters said to us about mid-season that he had forgotten about that spin move. And he talked to his father, and his father said, whatever happened to that? So he put it back in his arsenal, he said.
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes coaches don't like you to do that. I mean, they like you to, you know, finish off the run. They say, get behind your shoulder pads and do those types of things and don't spin. But if you have a talent to spin like Ricky Waters, you better use it.
Waters this time split wide to the left. This is another element that he adds to their offense. Rathman comes out there in motion. Young goes straight ahead, first down. 3 yards straight ahead by Steve Young.
Now, it's an interesting play. You could really play quarterback sneak on that thing, because if you look out, Ricky Waters was out here. Here's Rathman here. So you look in here where you'd have backs, and there's no backs in here. The only guy that could carry the ball is Steve Young. So if you're going to play run on that down, there's no back left.
Just inside the 10. First down. Waters the lone setback this time. Here's Young. Whips it outside to Rice. Out of bounds at the 3. Kevin Smith took him out.
And he's going to go to the right today. Talking about lining Jerry Rice up in the left all the time, throwing to the left. Not today. You can see it looks like the Cowboys are playing that tendency too. Kevin Smith was really playing inside. As I say that most of Steve Young's passes are in the middle and to the left. Kevin Smith was trying to take advantage of that, and when Jerry Rice ran the out on him, there was no way Kevin Smith could get there.
Second and goal. 4:45 left to play in the first quarter. Waters. The 49ers players signal touchdown, but no officials did. Robert Jones made the stop. He got a yard.
Now, these two teams are so much alike. Ricky Waters running the ball. Tom Rathman doing the leading. Watch him come in here. Barton takes his guy up the field. Tom Rathman leads. Now, Ricky Waters made a mistake there. He should have followed Tom Rathman. If you have a lead blocker, as you did with Rathman, and he's in there and he gives you a soft spot, get in behind him. Ricky Waters left his lead blocker too soon.
3rd and goal, about a foot away. Young, touchdown.
That was the same play, Pat. When it ended up, there was no one left in the backfield except Steve Young. You see Tom Rathman coming in motion. If they're going to run the ball, Steve Young has to run it. Ricky Waters was outside. Rathman went in motion. Of course, that'll loosen up the defense. Then Steve Young could find a hole in the left side.
And a good surge by the 49ers offensive line.
Young got in there behind Guy McIntyre and Steve Wallace.
Right. Kofer with Bono holding for the extra point. 8 plays, 48 yards after that outstanding kickoff return by Logan. 7-3, the 49ers lead.
There's Charles Haley looking at that drive. He's looking at every play on that drive to see what they did and how they lined up.
Kofer's kick will be handled by Kelvin Martin at about the 2. And there's some room. Martin out to about the 33. Another good kickoff return. Stopped by Odessa Turner. 32 yards. Martin brought it back. 7-3. 7-3, the 49ers over the Cowboys at Candlestick Park. Pat Summerall with John Madden. Dallas ball. Their rushing yards total so far, not what they're used to. -3. Troy Aikman. 1st and 10 at their own 34. Harper wide left. Reverse to Harper. And Harper outside the 35. A lot of running. Picked up 3.5, maybe 4 yards. Stopped by Keith DeLong.
You know, as we said, the field is really going to be a problem, and it's going to be a problem. The problem will get worse as the game goes on. So any trick types of things that you have, any big passes, any reverses, any reverse passes, anything like that, you want to get those plays in the first half. You don't want to wait till the second half to do those kinds of things.
Second and 7. Anyway. 2nd and 7, excuse me. Aikman to Darrell Johnston. And that last surge got his first down in the arms of Mike Walter.
Well, Darrell Johnston's nickname is the Moose, and Troy Aikman always kids, and you got Michael Irvin on one side, Alvin Harper, you got Kmart coming in, Emmitt Smith, and he said there's going to be a game someday where we're going to turn the Moose loose. And maybe the first quarter of the championship game they're turning the Moose loose.
Maybe so, but the Moose has got a bad wheel.
Yeah, but he's caught a couple already.
Harper wide left. Emmitt Smith. Emmitt across the 45. Finally picked his way for a couple. Tim Harris and Mike Walter made the stop.
Good 49er defense. Watch this. He's going to start in there to the left, and then he's not going to find any hole. You see, he would like to, if we could just stop right here, you see, he would like to get a cutback lane in here. But look at all these 49ers there. They take away the point of attack, then they take away from the point of attack where Emmitt Smith would like to cut back. Very solid defense.
Good play by Mike Walters. He met Johnston in the hole and buckled him.
And that's what made Emmitt Smith cut back.
Bad exchange on Aikman from the center. Stepnoski, he never did have the ball. He finally got it just before he went down. Romanowski, a loss of 10.
Yeah, I think of all the things in this weather and this field that is going to be tough, it's ball handling. anyone that has the ball in their hand. You see that? It's like you say, Pat, he never did get it back. I mean, never got it up there, and then by the time he got control of the football, there was no chance to make a play. So he did the smart thing, just hold on to it and go down.
3rd and 18. Well, Troy Aikman was saying the toughest thing about playing a game like this on a field like this is patience. And here's a time to exercise some of that. Well, the sack by Martin Harrison. You don't have time to be patient.
And Martin Harrison has really come along for this team. He's going to start here on the outside. Now, what they like to do is stunt, you know, where they cross the lineman. But Martin Harrison is on one side. See how he starts to the inside, takes that inside gap on 2-A, then the tackle works to the outside to protect him. But at the end of the season, Martin Harrison has become as big a factor on the pass rush as Tim Harris has on the other side for the 49ers.
Saxon back deep for Dallas. Alan Grant for the 49ers deep. Another short kick taken at the 37. Into Dallas territory, down to about the 47. Stopped finally by Mickey Pruitt. A 16-yard return, so they net only 19 yards. As we wind down in the closing seconds of quarter number 1 with the 49ers leading 7-3.
Yeah, we talked about the tendencies that the 49ers had, and they really came in the first quarter of this game to break those tendencies. And it was Steve Young last week was throwing left. They were doing everything left. Look at this game, 1 for 1 to the left. So far he's been 3 for 4 to the right.
Waters is in the slot to the left. Young is back to throw it. Goes right again, this time to Rathman. Rathman knocked out of bounds by Smith. Picked up 3. Flag on the play.
Hey, this is just what you expected, though. You knew that these two teams, you could see it coming all year. Number 1 and number 2 going to play each other. Offense, you knew that neither team was really going to be able to stop the other one.
Face mask foul, number 51, defense. 5-yard penalty. First down. Not an automatic first down.
You see again, Ken Norton gets in there, gets that hand in there, number 51. Really didn't get the whole hand in there. That was just one finger.
Earlier today in the AFC Championship game, Buffalo continued to roll, beat Miami 29-10. Buffalo's 3rd straight Super Bowl appearance. Only one question left. Who will they play?
Well, that could be a happy Buffalo team. Congratulations to them. And, of course, they can watch this game a lot of fun to see who they're going to play in the Super Bowl.
1st and 2. That's Waters. Russell Maryland made the stop. A loss of a yard. That's the end of the first quarter. Pat Summerall with John Madden back at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. The 49ers 7, the Cowboys 3 as we begin the second quarter. Dallas had 4 first downs, the 49ers 5 in the first quarter. But the Cowboys only got 2 yards on the ground. 2nd down and 3. That's the Dallas 40. Young. Rathman. First down. Robert Jones.
Yeah, and Steve Young, you think about him being left-handed, throwing and all that stuff and running, but he's also a big, strong guy, and he hung in there about as long as he could. And watch number 75, Tony Casillas, is going to hit him. If he holds any longer, 75 get up, he has to throw it right now and stand in there and take that hit. You know, that's the thing. You know, I say, why didn't he throw to this guy? Why didn't he throw to that guy? You have to realize that the defense is getting closer and closer, and you better unload it when you can.
1st and 10. That's Taylor in motion, and Young back to throw again. Chased by Haley. Incomplete. No flag. Jerry Rice, the intended receiver. Haley hit Young just as he let it go.
Yep, and Kevin Smith hit Rice just as the ball got there. That is good defense here by Kevin Smith. Watch him. He's a rookie #1 draft choice of the Cowboys. He was right on Jerry Rice, fed him all the way, went with him. Boom, he got that right hand in there. And of course, the pressure comes from Steve Young's backside by Charles Haley. Of course, it was his backside because he was turning to throw to the right. You got to chalk up one for Charles Haley on that one.
2nd and 10. Young, Waters, nothing.
They tried to trap Charles Haley on that one. You know, we talk about the 49ers scripting their first 15 plays. And this is what they did. They ran 7 times to the left, 1 time to the right, threw 2 times to the left, and 5 times to the right. So if you look, they ran 9 times and passed 6 times. So Mike Shanahan makes those plays up on Friday night. That's what they're going to do. Then from that, they formulate the rest of their game plan.
3rd and 10. Mike Sherrard now in. Waters out as they go with 3 wideouts. Young almost lost the ball. Now gets away from a couple of Cowboys. Does not get a first down, but might have got them in field goal range with that little scramble.
Remember last week in this field, Steve Young fumbled 3 times. When we talked to him the other day, he said, if there's anything I'm going to be conscious is of not fumbling. And of course, you still have to play, and you say, well, why does he have the ball up there in the air? Why does he have the ball flopping around? Well, that's the way Steve Young plays this game.
The ball is almost to Steve Young. It looks like he handles it like a baton for a sprinter.
And it helps the balance for his run.
Yeah. 47 yards away is Kofer. Bono holding. No good. And the Cowboys will hold and take over. San Francisco, however, leads 7-3. Emmitt Smith minus a yard in total today. Dallas has 2 yards rushing. San Francisco 34. Dallas got their 3 points off 1 turnover. The 49ers score came after a 51-yard kickoff return by Logan. Charles Haley in conversation.
Well, Charles Haley was there. He got very close to Steve Young on a play. Then the next time they came back and they tried to trap him, he played that well. And of course, he was part of the defense that forced the 49ers to go for a field goal that they missed. There's Steve Wallace, the guy who has to block Charles Haley most of today. And so far, I think both these tackles have done a pretty good job, both Wallace and Barton of the 49ers.
Excellent. 1st and 10, Dallas at their own 29. San Francisco leading at 7-3. Irvin wide right. Harper left. Aikman to throw. Harper. Stopped by Griffin, a gain of 9.
But you know who also does a heck of a job is a right tackle, Eric Williams for the Cowboys. Watch Harper here. He's just going to come up, just stop, run a hook there right in front. And that was a good throw by Aikman. But watch here, Eric Williams here. He's blocking Tim Harris. Now, this guy is just such a good pass protector. He's big, he's strong, he has great feet. He just stays right in front of Harris. Any place Harris goes, you can't even see the quarterback.
2nd and 1. Flag on the play as Johnston will get the first down, but the flag thrown by the umpire early.
Jimmy Johnson has really done a heck of a job with this Cowboy team, and you know, I mean, it's well documented.
Ball start, number 61, offense. Prior to the snap, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
False start by Nate Newton. That one would be easy to pick up, I would think.
Oh yeah, you pick up old Big Nate when he moves early. But Jimmy Johnson's done it, and he's going to be a victim of his own success because I think after this season he's probably going to lose some players to free agency. I think he's going to lose his defensive coordinator Dave Wannstedt to a head coaching job in this league, and maybe another assistant or 2.
2nd and 6. Smith. Emmitt Smith close to first down. Got 5. Tim Harris tripped him up.
There's old Big Nate. We're just talking about him, number 61 here. They're going to start to the left, and then they're going to cut it back to the right. He just comes in. You know, and anytime Nate puts that 330 pounds on you, you're going to go backwards. You know, and Nate loves that. You know, when he gets to play against a linebacker, my man Nate gets a little run at him. And then when they collide, boom, that linebacker goes up in the air. Then he goes about 5 yards back.
You're going to go where he wants to take you.
Yeah, if he can get on you, if he can get square on you. I talked to Nate yesterday out here in the field, and he was saying one thing about being a heavy guy, a big old guy, you don't have to worry about your footing. Because when you put these feet in the ground with that weight on top of it, those feet are going to stay in the ground.
Nate can give you every reason to be big.
Oh, yeah, Nate loves it. He says, that's great. He said, those little old light guys, he said, they slip and fall around. He said, big old guys with a solid base, you eat sinkers, yeah, everything just kind of sinks right down there in on you.
Gogan is the tight end now on the left. Speaking of big guys, Aikman gives to Darrell Johnson, first down. Carter made the stop. Speaking of big guys.
Now, Nate, after every play, he hitches up his pants. Now, you know, he lost all that weight. I mean, he went from like 380 to...
He found it.
To about 290, and then he had to put some weight on and off. He's trying to get the right weight. But when he was really heavy, after every play, he would hitch up his pants. And I've noticed, just watching film the last couple of weeks, he's starting to hitch up the pants after every play again.
First down, and Aikman fakes to Smith, back to throw it. Incomplete, intended for Novacek. Eric Davis, the nearest 49er.
I tell you, you know, watching Nate here, he's blocking against Kevin Feige. You see what he does? He just gets both hands out there, keeps the guy right out there, and then just pushes him any way he wants to go. Now watch this when it's all over. Once you get your guy blocked and it's all over, well, you put both thumbs in there, get a good grip, and just hitch him right up over there. Right up over the compilation.
Second and 10. Aikman has the ball batted backwards, incomplete. Tim Harris got a hand up.
The 49ers do a lot of this, you know, lying stunts or games where the defensive linemen cross. And you see it right there in the left-hand side of the screen. The end comes in, and that was Tim Harris, and that's how he got it. He started outside, then he comes inside. Now watch Tim Harris as he goes up. He not only puts a hand up, but he goes for the ball. You know, some guys just put their hands up. Some guys have a feeling when they put their hands up to hit the ball.
Third down and 10. Aikman has the ball fly loose. He was chased by Dennis Brown, who got a piece of him. And the ball came out, and Aikman was able to recover it.
There's another guy that can cause some havoc, because right here, Dennis Brown, just watch him. When he gets started, he's going to go right by Nate. He gets that move, you see, and then he gets that left shoulder inside. Then he comes right up the thing. Now he goes by Aikman, and watch him reach around with that right hand. He reaches around with the right hand and pulls and knocks the ball right out of Aikman's hand. That was lucky that wasn't a 49ers ball.
Third time they've gotten back close to Aikman. Got the hand on the ball that time. Saxon back to punt to Alan Grant. Better kick. Grant at the 14. Cowboys down in a hurry. Clayton Holmes was the first man to hit him. 9:33 left in the first half. 7-3 San Francisco. Nobody has slipped, and I give a lot of credit to George Toma. He's done a heck of a job getting this field in shape.
You know, I think if the field didn't work, there'd be a lot of talk about it. But if you look at all that dark green, that's all new turf that George Toma and his crew put in, and it is holding up extremely well.
49ers give the ball to Waters. Waters, scramble, fumble. And the Cowboys have it. Kevin Smith came up with the ball. Flag on the play still. A flag on the play. He might have been down. They might say he was down. Let's see. Jerry Markbright.
I don't think so, Pat. Ricky
either.
Waters ran off the field to the 49ers sideline shaking his head, and if he thought that he was going to be able to keep the ball, I think he would have stayed there. But they're going to start off here in the left side. Good block by Wallace. Good lead block by Tom Rathman.
Of the recovering team.
Now the fumble comes out. Now it's Cowboys ball, and the penalty was on a block after the fumble recovery. But you're going to see number 27, Thomas Everett. He's the guy who makes the hit here. See, he gets the ball is hit out. Then Kevin Smith picked it up.
Tony Tolbert was called for the illegal block. Waters upset, not with the field, upset with himself.
And then you're upset with yourself. You're upset because you fumbled. Then you get upset with anyone who talks to you about being upset. Ricky Waters on the sideline is a lot like Gary Clark to the Redskins.
Emmett Smith to about the 40. Got about 4.
Yeah, now there's one guy. There's Roy Foster, the old, veteran, 11-year player who's been in this league that goes up, and I think a player will listen more to a veteran player like a Tom Rathman or a Roy Foster than a coach trying to talk to him. And everyone's trying to calm him down, and you have to calm him down before you get the ball again.
2nd and 6. Smith again. Emmett Smith, first down, Dallas. Smith out of bounds at about the 20. Don Griffin knocked him out of bounds. And again, getting back to, well,
and a heck of a block by Darrell Johnston. Watch a fullback here. He's going to get a block on Tim Harris. Watch, he starts a block there, then he stays with him, and he gets him again. And right there, just by staying with him, that was the block that let Emmitt Smith get to that corner.
That's 15 yards, excuse me, John.
Yeah, that's why these fullbacks are so valuable, whether you're talking about Johnston on the Cowboys or Rathman on the 49ers. They don't have a lot of the glory things, but they make the glory things available to the other guys.
Smith. By Mike Walter. John Johnson. 5 yards for Emmitt Smith.
We were talking to Ricky Waters yesterday. He says that when he plays against a great back like an Emmitt Smith, he says he likes to watch him, because he can learn from him. He can learn from everyone. But Ricky Waters is not in the mood now
to watch anybody.
To watch Emmitt Smith. They are trying to calm him down. He has so much energy. Calming him down is a full-time job.
2nd and 6 at the 16. Johnston now lines up as a tight end on the right side as Harper comes in motion. Aikman fake, gets it to Johnston. Dives close to a first down at the 10, tripped up by Eric Davis. First down.
Here we go.
Just outside the 10.
Tim Harris didn't want to let the Moose loose. The Moose had to go sideways, go down on one knee, jump up, and go outside to finally get loose.
Just outside the 10-yard line with 7:07 left to play in the first half, and San Francisco leading Dallas 7-3.
I used to hate it when the kicker would warm up when you were at a first down on the 10-yard line.
That's one thing I never did.
No, you never let him do that. Don't think a field goal. Now, if he says I'm warming up for the extra point, that's all right.
Well, you shouldn't have to warm up for an extra point.
That's the other point. That's why he shouldn't be warming up.
Aikman straight back. Over the middle to Emmitt Smith, not much. Well, 4 yards. Against this defense today, that's pretty good.
That's what Norv Turner was saying about the 49er defense. They've been vulnerable. They don't have the best numbers in the league, but he says over the years, and Norv Turner was the offensive coordinator of the Cowboys, and he used to be with the Rams, and he said over the years, getting inside that 20, their defense always got tougher.
And they've gotten better as this year has progressed.
Their whole defense has gotten better.
2nd and 7. Smith deep. Right at the line of scrimmage. Emmitt Smith by Ted Washington this time. And Mike Walter.
Yeah, Mark Stepnoski, the center, really didn't get any movement there. Daryl Johnston gets a pretty good lead block. But watch Stepnoski. He was blocking Ted Washington. Ted Washington just threw Stepnoski right back into the backfield. Now, if you don't get that block, if the center doesn't get his block, if he allows penetration by the nose tackle, you are not going to run the football.
3rd and 6, the second time the Cowboys have been down inside the 10. Now they go with their wide receiver package, 3 of them. Aikman to throw it. Incomplete, a flag on the play.
And I bet it was on Emmitt Smith, holding on Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith was trying to get out into the pass pattern pad, and they grabbed him. I think Aikman was going to look for him, too. You'll see it right in the middle of the thing. He was looking for him.
And that would be a first down if that's true.
That's because Troy Aikman looked like he wanted to go to Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith was trying to release inside the line, and the lineman had just grabbed him.
Kevin Fagan, I think, grabbed him.
Well, watch, Emmitt Smith is here. He's going to come in here and try and get through. Now watch him get grabbed. You see him here? He fakes a draw. Now right now he's trying to get out in the pass pace. He's tackled right there. He gets tackled, and that's the thing that the official saw. And that was who Aikman was trying to go to. See him? He gets tackled right there.
Automatic first down. Another big key to that whole thing. 1st and goal now at the 4.
Now this is a big decision for Norv Turner. Do you run and say you're going to run it in, or do you go play pass, which would be a good call here?
Run with Smith. Good call here.
That's a better call.
Daryl Johnston with a good block in front. Smith with the touchdown. And the Cowboys take the lead.
And that's what Emmitt Smith said yesterday that he wants to do. He said he thinks he usually runs between the tackles, but he thinks against this 49er team, he can bounce it out. He's going to start to the inside and the left. There's Daryl Johnston again with a good lead block. And again, Johnston makes the block that makes the touchdown for Emmitt Smith so easy. Hey, if you have an MVP for the Cowboys for this first half, to me, it has to be Daryl Johnston.
Has to be.
He's been in on everything. The Moose is loose.
Elliott's extra point is good, and the Cowboys lead it now 10-7 with 5:05 left to play in the first half. 5:05 left to play in the first half. George Seifert and Jerry Markbright, the referee. Spirited conversation, and this is what he was talking about, John.
Well, I know what he was complaining about is he was complaining. This is a touchdown play here where Daryl Johnston makes a heck of a block on Romanowski.
That's not what he was complaining about.
No, what he was complaining about was a holding penalty on Emmitt Smith.
Right.
When Emmitt Smith went through the line, when he was saying it's a play fake, the defensive linemen can't see. They don't know that it's a pass, and they're just tackling and think he's a runner.
Grant.
I'll tell you, that's the big thing. That was a big play. I mean, you take that whole sequence, the turnover by the 49ers when Ricky Waters fumbled. Then the defense of the 49ers really plays well, but they get that holding penalty, which gives the Cowboys an automatic first down. And it was on Pierce Holt, who was just making a tackle. He thought Emmitt Smith was a runner.
And that was on 3rd down when that took place. So they were getting close to being out of downs. That gave them a fresh start.
And that tackle was a 7-point, or at least a 4-point tackle.
Young just gets it out, but gets it complete to Taylor. And John Taylor had his knee down, wrestled around by Everett. A gain of 7. Young just didn't get rid of it.
You know, one thing I think you have to do with a young guy like Ricky Waters, he's a rookie. I mean, he was with the 49ers last year, but he didn't play all year, so this is his first year. I think when something bad happens like that, I think you got to try and calm him down on the sidelines, but then he's going to be a big part of the second half of this game, and I think you have to get him back into the game, get the ball back to him as soon as you can.
Someone said it's not how much you remember, it's how fast you can forget. Let's see if he does. Waters. to the 40. Stopped by Casillas. Got 6.
Yeah, I think a guy with a talent like Ricky Waters, I mean, he's a guy who's gained over 1,000 yards. He's going to the Pro Bowl. You can't get him down. You can't get down on him, and you can't let him get down on himself. I think that was a smart play. You get him back in there, you hand him the ball, get him back into the flow of the game, and let him forget about that fumble.
First down, 49ers. Rice in the slot. Here comes the Cowboy blitz again. Young gets rid of it. Rice has it. And tiptoed down the sidelines to the 33-yard line. Larry Brown was with Rice. Boy, that's a remarkable play by Steve Young and Jerry Rice.
And that's why Jerry Rice is Jerry Rice. Jimmy Johnson says we watch him on film, and he doesn't look like he makes great plays because he makes every play look so easy. And, of course, that was one right there. I mean, this is a great play. Steve Young, he has pressure. He steps up. You see, because he's so strong, he just took that one guy and just ripped him right off and then threw the ball.
Don't all the great ones in every sport make it look easy, though?
Yeah, I mean, there was never anyone that made it look any easier than Joe Montana.
That's Rathman. Inside the 25 to about the 23. Stopped by Jones and Norton. Picked up 12 for the 49ers.
Yeah, we were talking about Daryl Johnston, and everything that Daryl Johnston is to the Dallas Cowboys, Tom Rathman is to this 49er team. He's a guy that does all the leading for Ricky Waters, does all the tough blocking, the blitzes and everything. He's a guy that when you need a catch, he'll get open and catch the ball. He's a tough guy, a real football player. There's a real football player, Joe Montana. Boy, was he fun to watch.
First and 10, Young gives to Waters. A lot of room. I beg his pardon, that's Amp Lee, who had replaced Waters. Stopped by Vincent Smith. Amp Lee, this year's first-round draft choice. 7 yards.
Amp Lee, you know, when they started out, it was between Amp Lee and Ricky Waters. Ricky Waters beat out Amp Lee, a rookie in training camp. Ricky Waters played most of the year, and then he got hurt. Amp Lee came in and really played well. And when Ricky Waters came back from that shoulder injury last week, Amp Lee didn't play at all.
2nd and 3. We have 2 minutes left to play in the first half with the score Dallas 10, San Francisco 7.
And they never got any faster, though, did they? I mean, that's one thing I liked about a blimp. Nice slow pace.
Here's Young. Fake. Taken down, but lunged for a first down. Russell Maryland chased him.
Russell Maryland almost took a lot of Steve Young with him. Russell Maryland was a man on a mission when he comes across there. Watch big number 67. When he sees Steve Young scramble, Maryland may have been the spy on that. That may be his responsibility. I mean, he takes him, he grabs his head, his helmet, and everything, and then Haley takes him on after he's down, and he doesn't even have a helmet on. I tell you, that's tough to take on a guy when you're down on your back with no helmet.
This is a Dallas timeout. They're going to measure over in the mess for a first down. As Young lunged close to it.
Yeah, we talked about the field earlier, and that's the only place that is a mess on that side, and that's a pretty good-looking mess.
It's not a timeout.
Look who's here, still coaching Pierce Holt. That's Jim Burt. Remember Jim Burt right here, the old New York Giant, San Francisco 49er nose tackle? Remember years ago we saw Jim Burt. He was coaching Pierce Holt there on the sideline. What happened to a nose tackle? You notice he's getting a little gray.
Yes, and you part your hair in the middle.
Or you had it parted in the middle by playing nose tackle a long time.
10-7 Dallas. The Cowboys honorary captain Roger Staubach, who took part in the toss of the coin ceremonies before the game. Not many did it much better than he.
I think when you think of the great quarterbacks of the game, the great scramblers of the game, the winners and leaders and classy guys, Roger Staubach is always going to be at the top of that.
He'd be right there. First and 10 49ers at the 13. Young to throw it. Looked outside, sacked and hit by by Casillas. Tony Casillas.
That was one of those things, Pat, that they call a coverage sack, because Steve Young was trying to throw to the left. He had great coverage out there. There was no one to throw to, and then Casillas finally gets him. Watch him here. He's looking to his left. He's looking. He pumps. He has to come back, and when he comes back, he comes right into Tony Casillas' arms.
Dallas timeout. They have one left.
And here's how they're blocking on the other side against Charles Haley. You see Steve Wallace is just taking away that outside, knowing that he has help from the inside from Guy McIntyre. Someone may get there. Casillas gets there, but Charles Haley on that play wasn't going to get there.
That's the book on Steve Young. One lost helmet. Luckily, he got that back.
He's been hurried 6 times and knocked down twice. And again, only lost 1 helmet, as you say. And for a guy, you know, Steve Young's one of those guys that doesn't comb his hair. So a lost helmet isn't as effective on a guy that doesn't go there. It doesn't affect him as much.
He's 9 out of 11, however. Second down. Waters started in motion. The handoff is to Rathman. Rathman inside the 10 to about the 9. Stopped by Tolbert.
Now I see Harris Barton out there lost his helmet. You know, the field is good.
Yeah.
The footing's real good, but guys seem to be losing their helmet. Here's a little trap play. Guy McIntyre comes around. Woody Rathman leaves his guy, comes to the outside, bounces out 1 hole. That brings up a 3rd down. Now they're going to have to get into a passing situation here.
Another Dallas timeout, and that takes care of all of theirs.
Steve Bono, he's the 3rd quarterback, and he's active because he's the holder. Joe Montana in this game would be the backup quarterback. And again, just like last week, the only way Montana would play is if Steve Young got hurt. During the practice, Steve Young got most of the practice plays. Montana coming into this game knows that he's a number 2 quarterback.
Young to throw it. Batted down. Woodson, I believe, got the hand up. Might have been Haley. Let's see.
It's going to be on his left side. You see Haley is moved inside. He's working over Wallace. It was him. You see Wallace started him, then he was passing him off to McIntyre. So Wallace started, he punches him, and then when he lets him go, watch, he lets go right now, and when he lets go, Haley gets his right arm up and knocks that ball down. Because he can cause havoc. When Charles Haley goes to the inside, he can make bad things happen to the offense.
Bono holding. Over from 28 yards. Is good, and we have a tie score at 10 with 1:19 left to play in the first half. Now the sun has broken through. The players can see their shadows for the first time in about 2 weeks.
And I'm sure that's the last thing in their mind.
Right.
I used to always tell how fast a guy was by how far the mud went up in the back of his pants. You know, like if the mud just went a little way up when the guy would run, he was slow. And a guy like Cliff Branch, when he would run, he would kick mud all the way up to his shoulder pads. Art Shell would kick it up to the top of his socks.
Cliff Branch needed mud flaps. Art did not.
No. Art didn't need anything. Art was like Nate Newton. And they just kind of stayed right there plugged in the ground.
Short kick. Robert Jones watches it sail out of bounds, and the Cowboys will take over at the 35. They're out of timeouts. 1:19 left to play in the first half.
You know, when the Cowboys did take those timeouts there when the 49ers were down there, they knew the 49ers were going to have to either score a touchdown or kick a field goal, but they were taking their timeouts so that they would get this time right now. They got 1:19 before the half is over.
Aikman is 8 out of 13 for 86 yards. Emmitt Smith has the lone touchdown. That's for Dallas. Here's Aikman, draw play to Emmitt Smith with room. Emmitt Smith to midfield. Stopped by Dennis Brown, a pickup of 15. Stopped by Dana Hall with Dennis Brown.
The Cowboys again have no timeouts. They'll go no huddle. You'd think somewhere on this drive they're going to have to try and get the ball to Michael Irvin.
55 seconds left to play in the first half. To Smith. He's headed for out of bounds. Gets there. Chased by Hanks, who had a rib problem earlier, but apparently that's over.
I think they have to take a shot here. They've been successful throwing to Emmitt Smith. They've been successful with Novacek, with Johnston, and I think they have to go here to a Harper or Michael Irvin, one of their outside speed guys.
50 seconds left to play in the first half. 10-10 tie. 2nd and 4. 49ers will rush 4. Aikman outside to Emmitt Smith. And Emmitt struggled to get out of bounds, didn't make it, so the clock continues to run. Don Griffin kept him in bounds after a gain of 8, and the clock is still running.
Well, Troy Aikman's going to have to take the ball now and just throw it down and stop the clock because of that play.
Exactly what he did.
Again, I think you have to take the shot first. I mean, somewhere on this drive, you have to take a shot for a touchdown. And, you know, you just can't keep throwing underneath. I think you can, you know, throw underneath to get in position for that field goal. But in a game like this, in a championship game, when you're on the road, you've used your timeout, I always feel somewhere you have to take the shot at the touchdown.
With only 27 seconds left to play in the first half, at some point.
Yeah, I think with no timeouts, they can still do both. I think they can take a shot at a touchdown and throw underneath for field goal.
Aikman back. Caught by Michael Irvin, who lunged out of bounds, but now let's see. Did he get out? The clock is stopped. Yes, he did. 14-yard pickup.
Yeah, you see the cushion out there. You can see this all the way that they have to throw to Michael Irvin. Eric Davis is playing way off him. Eric Davis is worried about the Cowboys taking a shot at the end zone. He's not going to let Michael Irvin get in the end zone, but he does let him have that deep out for a first down. And now the Cowboys are in field goal range.
With 20 seconds left. 1st and 10, Dallas at the 49er 22. Novacek is the move man this time. Aikman slipped, and down he goes in the arms of Tim Harris. He slipped as he tried to set up.
Yeah, that was the one thing that he couldn't do, is take the sack. He had to get rid of that one. Tim Harris made a heck of a move by getting there and getting that sack.
And he has to just throw it down quickly to stop the clock with 8 seconds to go, and the field goal unit comes on.
And that pass to Michael Irvin was a big play. Watch Tim Harris. He's number 92 down here in the bottom, working against Mark Tuinei. He just uses a speed rush there. There was no inside. There was no arm over. It was nothing. He just ran right by Tuinei.
43 yards out for Elliott. He's hit from 20. Berline holding. Plenty of distance, but wide right. And it's 10-10 still.
I tell you, coming into this game, these two teams were so close. You know, they didn't play each other. You could see it coming all year. Some people say the 49ers are the best team in football. Some people say the Cowboys. I think it's only fitting that the score is 10-10 at halftime.
And we still don't know, if that statement is true, which is the best team.
Yeah, and that's the thing about this season. You play the whole season to get here. You go in, it's 10-10, and now it's a 30-minute game. As Jimmy Johnson said, it's just 60 more minutes before getting to the Super Bowl. Now, for both these teams going in, it's 30 more minutes to the Super Bowl.
That's the end of the first half with the score. Dallas 10 and the San Francisco 49ers 10. We're just about set to begin the second half here at Candlestick, and it gives us a moment to look at some statistics and see what they are at the half.
Well, you know, the one thing that I was just saying, if you look at the rushing yards of the Cowboys, only 55 yards. I think that probably if the Cowboys are going to be successful, that number will be doubled in this second half.
Dallas will have the ball to begin the second half. Kofor to kick it off for San Francisco. Martin and Kevin Smith back deep. Kofor's kick hangs a little short. Martin from behind by Mark Logan. We got word earlier that Mark Logan had a cramp in his calf, but obviously that's all gone.
You know, like Leslie Visser was just talking about, the Cowboys came out and they were going to pass and open up their run, so they had a little trouble with their pass protection because the 49ers were just rushing the passer. So somewhere along the line they would like to get back to be able to run, get that pass rush, so the 49ers calm down a little. I don't think they expected that. 1st and 10 at the 22. Aikman back to throw it. Good pass protection out to Smith. Not much. Eric Davis. Mike Walter stopped him after a gain of a yard. If you look, all Aikman's passes were basically short, under 10 yards, 8 to 15, and that was a lot of that dump stuff to Smith and to Johnston. 2 for 2 between 10 to 20 yards, and only one pass did he throw over 20 yards. I think, you know, somewhere to really loosen him up, and they wanted to loosen him up in the first half, and to really loosen him up, you have to throw some passes over 20 yards.
2nd and 9. Smith with room. 1st down, Dallas. 14-yard pickup, stopped by John Johnson. Keith DeLong, by the way, is out of the 49er defense with a pulled hamstring.
You know, and this is a new play for the Cowboys. Usually they run inside on a handoff to Emmitt Smith, kind of a lead draw type of thing. We were talking to them last night, and they said that they put this in where they think they can get outside on the 49ers, and they wanted to do it with a pitch. They were a little worried about the field and the ball handling, but this was a play they had specifically for the 49ers, and they didn't show it to them till the first part of the second half.
Harris chased Aikman, didn't get to him, almost intercepted by Romanowski, who moved inside in place of DeLong. Irvin, the intended receiver.
Like you say, Keith DeLong was the guy that was really helped stuffing that run in that first half. You know, he was stepping up in there, taking on Johnston on those lead draws, not giving Emmitt Smith a lot of room to run, and now he's out for the second half.
Pulled a hamstring, so that made that adjustment necessary for San Francisco.
But now John Johnson becomes the outside guy when Romanowski moves in.
Emmitt Smith away from one. Emmitt Smith couldn't make that cut as he normally does on this slippery field. Still good considering. Well, he would have cut that one back more effectively.
Yeah, there are two things that a running back can do. He can take the ball to the hole, and then he can either cut back against the grain or bounce it to the outside. In the first half, he tried to cut back against the grain a lot. That didn't work. I bet at halftime they started saying, let's try and get outside.
3rd down. They need 7. Safety blitz. Aikman throws to Irvin. Irvin back to the outside, out of bounds in San Francisco territory at the 44.
And that's what a big, strong quarterback like Troy Aikman does. You see that Thane Gash, number 31, comes free right up the middle. You're going to watch him. He's here. He's going to get a jump on this thing. Boom, boom, boom. He's going to hit it right here, and he gets to Aikman just as he's throwing the ball. But look at Thane Gash come. He's coming free. Aikman not only sees it, but he has to step right into it. Now, this is toughness. When you can do that, see it coming, concentrate on the guy you're throwing to, step into the throw, and make a throw like that, you're a tough quarterback.
And a good play by Irvin to read it on the outside. Aikman going deep. Harper came down with the ball. 1st and goal, Dallas inside the 10. Eric Davis just couldn't jump high enough.
You know, they were probably talking about that at halftime, knowing that they didn't throw a pass over 20 yards, that if you're going to loosen it up, you have to throw some deep. You have that speed on the outside with Harper. Just let him run up there and get the ball and out-jump Eric Davis. That's exactly what they did. I don't know that he out-jumped him as much.
I don't know that he did.
That ball just went right through Eric Davis's hands.
Looked like it might have bounced off Davis.
Can't be any better coverage than that for Eric Davis.
First and goal at the 7. 2 tight ends. Cannell in motion. That's Emmitt Smith. Out of bounds at about the 3.5 by Dana Hall.
Hey, we're talking about John Johnson, who just came in the game, number 55. He doesn't know what hit him there. You know, you're not used to the speed or the tempo of the game when you don't play. Johnson comes in, and he looks like he's going to be in pretty good position. Watch out here on the right side. He's going to be in pretty good position right there. See him? He's free. He's going to be able to tackle Emmitt Smith. All he came up with was air.
That you could practice forever. You're so right. But until you get into a game and see how quickly things happen, you just don't know.
Yeah, you can see from the sidelines and you feel when you're in there.
There was a safety blitz. Again, this is Johnston in the end zone. Flag on the play. Way on the outside. That was funny looking from the beginning.
I know, because half the players stopped playing. And if the whistle didn't blow, then that's going to be a good play and a touchdown.
Offside. Defense. Penalty is declined.
Touchdown.
Touchdown.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I think they jumped off sides, thought the play was over. No whistle blew. The play wasn't over. Johnston just ran right into the end zone. Hey, I still think he's the MVP of this game, even in the second half now, Daryl Johnston. The Moose is loose. Watch it right here. You're going to see Johnston as the first guy. And we see the 49ers jump off sides there. The blitz comes, he misses, and it looked like half the 49ers just stood there.
The extra point is good. Cowboys lead at 17-10, and you know, Jimmy Johnson said yesterday we're going to do a few different things we haven't done. Maybe one of those things was to turn the Moose loose.
And, you know, talking about the Moose being turned loose, he had 2 bad knees, had them all week, didn't say anything to anyone, and Jimmy Johnson didn't know it until the other day that he had bad knees. And he said, oh, and Johnston told him, heck, I'll be ready to go. Not only has he been catching the ball, he's been blocking, and then here he runs like a real fullback. The Moose is loose. Leon Lett, the big cat. There's the Moose. Some guys are just tough guys. I mean, some guys that are tough, the tougher things get, the bigger games get, the more they enjoy it, and whatever that thing, adrenaline or whatever that is called, energy, or getting ready for a big game or being a big game player, that just comes out in some guys more than it does others.
You get to a place sometimes where some guys don't want the ball when things get tough. Basketball, football, whatever.
And I think that's most of them.
Yeah. Except the great ones. Logan. The coverage is good this time. There's a flag on the play. Chad Hennings down to make the stop with Tommy Agee.
I think you have to give the Cowboys credit for making very good halftime adjustments. You know, seeing what they did in the first half, realized that they hadn't gotten deep.
Number 99 on the return, half the distance to the goal, first down.
I think offensively the Cowboys realized 2 things. One, that they hadn't gotten outside on the run, so they changed that. They went to the pitch to Emmitt Smith. 2, they haven't thrown a ball deep, so they went to Harper, and that got him a touchdown on that drive.
So the 49ers will have the ball just inside their own 10. Dallas leading by a touchdown. The NFC Championship, and Dallas leads by a touchdown, 17-10. 49er ball just inside their own 10. Long way to go, but they're good at this.
Well, again, that drive that we just saw the Cowboys make was their adjustment at halftime. Now we're going to see how the 49ers adjusted at halftime.
Young quickly outside. Taylor struggles and struggled for 7 or 8 yards. conversation with Ken Norton.
Yeah, we'll look at Steve Young again. Before, he'd been throwing here mostly the left side, and you see here he only threw 3 passes to the left, 1 in the middle. He was 5 for 5 to the right, but again, over 15 yards, he only threw 1 deep pass. So I think that the 49ers also have to stretch out this defense.
Ricky Waters with the spin move, got away from a tackler and is finally brought down by Washington and Brown.
You know, in all the time of watching professional football, I don't know that I've seen a running back that uses a spin move more than Ricky Waters or better than Ricky Waters. Have you?
No.
I mean, this is, and where it works and it does something. I mean, that spin move was about a 15-yard gain. You know, some guys spin and they don't go anywhere, but I mean, Charles Haley's coming down the line. He has zeroed in. He thinks he has him, and he makes that spin. Boom, he's gone the other way. That got the 49ers out of a hole.
1st and 10 at their own 32. Young to throw it. To Rice. This is Rice, and look out. Jerry Rice out of bounds at the Dallas 32, maybe 33, a gain of 35.
Yeah, you talk about big games, you have to get your ball to the playmakers. Jerry Rice is a playmaker. You know, he's a guy that he gets the ball, then he's going to run with it. He's always thinking touchdown. He's going to make guys miss. He's going to run. He's going to take it one way to the end zone. Yeah, that's why he's so good. I mean, on any type of play, you throw him a short one, he can take it all away. You cover him, you get up there, he can get by you and catch the deep one. But I think Jerry Rice has to catch more than 3 passes in this game. He has to become a bigger part of this 49.
I have a hunch he will. Young gives to Waters, who lunges inside the 30, stopped by Casillas, got 3. Russell Maryland assisted Casillas.
Yeah, these Cowboy players, you watch the offensive line there, they know that they have done their work on that last series, but they know that they're going to have some more opportunities to do this work. It's probably a type of situation that's going to come down to the last couple series in the game. Yeah, the whole thing, you know, one team is going to Super Bowl, one team's out. It'll probably be the last 2 times they have the ball.
No running backs. Young is sacked. Now he gets out of it. Stopped by Casillas. 3 Cowboys missed him.
I think about Guy McIntyre. He was in there. He kept blocking. You know, a quarterback has protection when he's a quarterback. But then when he starts here and he starts to run with the ball, now he becomes a running back. And Steve Young is so strong. I mean, he has strong legs and a strong body that guys really have to bring everything they have to get him down. I mean, he's not one of those guys you just go poof and he goes down. I mean, you better bring whatever you have in your pockets, you better bring with you.
3rd and 9. Young back to throw it. Hit again just as he let it go, but Waters makes the catch short of a 1st down. Picked up 7. They needed 2 more. Kenneth Gant wrestled him down.
And that's going to be Jimmy Jones. You watch number 97. He's going to come in here and hit Steve Young right there just as he throws the ball. And of course, the 49ers have an interesting decision. They're going to go for a field goal here. The fans kind of wanted them to go for it to get the 1st down, but I think in this situation you have to kick the field goal.
And it's no gimme on a field like this.
Of course, Mike Kofer has already missed 1 today.
Right. This from almost 43 yards away. Bono holding. That's going to get there and get through. It's good at 17-13. Dallas leads with 6:25 left in the 3rd quarter. Back at Candlestick Park. Dallas 17, San Francisco 13. Kofer set to kick off. Pat Summerall with John Madden. Smith and Martin deep for the Cowboys. Good kick this time. Kelvin Martin. Kmart. Down at the 20. 6:16 left in the third quarter. Dallas 17, San Francisco 13. Troy Aikman, no interceptions in his last 95 pass attempts.
He has matured into a real effective quarterback, you know, where he makes his reads quickly. He comes off his first receiver and gets to a second and third as well as anyone.
Harris jumped but got back. Aikman caught by Irvin on the slant. Tackled by Eric Davis. A gain of 7.
Again, this is just a quick pass. He's just going to go up 1, 2, 3, then slant to the inside, and the ball's right there. Now, what the offensive linemen want to do is they want to get their guys' hands down. Watch right here, and you watch Eric Williams. He has to get the passing lane. So the way you get the passing lane is, boom, you just chop your guy and cut him, then you can throw right over his head.
2nd and 3, the pitch back to Emmitt Smith. Nothing. A loss. Perhaps no gain.
Well, John Johnson has the feel of the game now, Pat. Remember down there on the other end, he missed a tackle on Emmitt Smith. This time it was the same thing. Here he takes on Johnston, plays him off with his hands, takes the inside, and makes a perfect tackle on Emmitt Smith.
Good play.
So we said sometimes you don't have the feel, you don't know how fast and quick they are. John Johnson figured it out pretty quickly. You got me once, you don't twice.
Big 3rd and 3 here on both sides of the ball. Aikman. Irvin hung on again and got the first down. Again, it was Davis, but big and strong wide receivers do help.
And watch how he uses his body here. He's bigger than Eric Davis. He just gets inside him, shields Davis, keeps him out to his backside, and then Troy Aikman just throws it right in front of him.
Irvin may be the best at that, using his body to shield off the defensive back.
Yeah, I think he's the best at that, and I think he's among the best at going inside. You know, catching ends, those deep ends, stuff in the middle. The guy has no fear.
Well, he has 17 brothers and sisters. That helped. Darrell Johnston taken down at the 40. Dana Whitmore made the stop.
You know, one thing about this game is both of these defenses are good tackling defenses. I mean, David Whitmore, you know, make the tackle, and this is the way you're supposed to tackle. I mean, guys are going to catch ball, but after they catch the pass, you don't let them make any more yards. I mean, David Whitmore came up, boom, he hit him, he wrapped him, and took him to the ground. Now, they're going to catch some passes, but let them get those 3- and 4-yard things. Don't let them catch it and make big plays out of it.
2nd and 7 at the 40. Hand off to Emmitt Smith, a little room. Gain 4. Kevin Fagan tripped him up.
Yeah, if you look at the first half in the Cowboys and see where they threw the ball, 8 of 14 to the wide receivers. That's for 133 yards, and I think they're going to have to do more of that. They only threw to their tight ends. That's Jay Novacek, 1 out of 3, and their running backs 8 out of 8. So it's been the wide receivers and the running backs, not the tight end in this game.
3rd and 3. Aikman to Smith. Fake to Smith. To Novacek, who makes a catch. Boy, what a good fake to Smith. I thought he had the ball.
I know it, and Aikman has really been hot this second half. Whatever they did at halftime works because he's 7 out of 8 now. Jay Novacek had only caught 1 pass, but here's a counter bootleg. You see, they faked the counter. Emmitt Smith fakes in the counter. Aikman then bootlegs away from the way Smith went, and he throws it to Aikman. I mean, that's a heck of a catch here by Jay Novacek. He just stretches out as far as he can and catches that ball. And as you say, that was a good fake by Troy Aikman.
And by Emmitt Smith. And this is the lead draw to Smith, and there is nothing there. Ted Washington around the corner made the stop.
Yeah, the 49ers have really done a heck of a job of playing this lead draw because they're not only playing it at the point of attack. If we just watch it right here, you can see that right here, there's no cutback here. This is where he'd like to do is get back here. Now he has to take it into this hole. Now they force him into that hole, and then they can quickly get in from behind on him. But they don't give him any cutback. Emmitt Smith is best when he can start one way and cut back the other.
And again, it started to rain. And Aikman back to throw it. Throws behind Novacek, incomplete. And the weather's starting to move in again.
You know, and I think probably for those players and coaches down in the field, they don't even know it. Because when you think, you know, a minute and 15 seconds left in the third quarter and you're this close. I mean, you've worked all year to get in a championship game. You're here. There's one team that's already in the Buffalo Bills are in. One of these teams are going to play the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl.
3rd and 11. Here's Aikman in the pocket. Gets it to Smith. And Smith broke away from a couple of tacklers and got a Dallas first down. Thane Gash finally brought him down, but Emmitt Smith, you don't realize how strong he is until you see something like this.
And I tell you, he made Bill Romanowski miss. You know, as you say, he's very strong. He has great balance. Now this is a play right there. See Romanowski, he hit him. Emmitt Smith did a little spin on him. It was kind of a power spin to get that first down. But as you say, you know that he's quick. You know that he can get through holes, but he's also very, very strong. Look at it. On the second, third, and fourth guy, look at how many times they've tackled him today, or how few times the first guy's tackled him.
Smith again. And again, he surges inside the 30. Got 3 yards with that last effort. Mike Walter and Dennis Brown brought him down.
You know, it's going to be a point if the Cowboys can get a score here, then they can give the game to Emmitt Smith.
Well, they've used up a lot of time on the clock on this drive alone. That's the end of the third quarter. Aikman sends Johnston in motion. 2nd and 8. Outside to Smith. First down, Dallas. Again, he made the first man miss.
You know, the other thing that impresses me about Emmitt Smith, when you talked about the field, you know, he didn't worry about that. He said he doesn't care. I mean, he'll just go out and wear whatever cleats and just play the game. And I think he is one of those guys that can play on artificial turf, on regular grass. I think he could go out and play in the parking lot, and he'd be the guy you couldn't catch.
He said earlier in the week, they worry about us slipping. They worry about the condition of the field. I'm worried about the field. It's the one that's going to take the beating.
With all these big old guys pounding on it, it's held up very well, though.
That's Emmitt Smith to the 15. Romanowski, the stop. Smith got 5.
I think this was a Dallas Cowboy plan, is to start off in the first half and not use Emmitt Smith as much, but pass, use Johnston, do all those different things. Get the 49ers off keying on Emmitt Smith. Then, if that ever happens, then in the second half, and maybe specifically in the fourth quarter, give him a heavy, heavy, heavy dose of number 22.
Only one team has trailed after 3 quarters and won. That was the Giants in 1990, right here. Smith again. To about the 11. Ted Washington stopped him, but 4 more yards.
Did you see at the end of that play when David Whitmore, the strong safety for the 49ers, came in? He stuck his shoulder in there, and boom, Emmitt Smith just knocked it right back out, and I heard an ooh. I mean, he hit him with ooh. Watch him. You're going to see 41 right there. When he hit him, he went, ooh.
That's not good for a day like this. Ooh.
No, I know it. Well, when you're a safety and you come up and you got rocks in your pockets and you come up to hit a guy and he hits you and you go, ooh, and you go backwards, the other guy's winning that fight. And the Cowboys are now. I mean, the Cowboys' offensive line in this second half have really taken it over, and they are really dominating the line of scrimmage.
They are big, all of them. Stepnoski being the smallest. Giezik's about 280. They're going to measure, obviously. Looks like they need a foot. That is the offensive unit, and they've done one whale of a job this year.
You know, probably the most underrated guy now is Mark Tuinei. The left tackle's been there for 10 years. Newton and Stepnoski, they're in the Pro Bowl. John Giesick, they say, grades out the best. And I think Eric Williams, the right tackle, is the best player in the bunch, and I think that he's going to be a Pro Bowl player for 10 years.
He's going to be a superstar at that position.
When you look at a guy that big, he weighs 325 pounds and moves like him, he's amazing.
They compare him to Jackie Slater, and that's pretty good. Giesick jumped early.
Hey, you just talk about him, you brag about the offensive line, and old John Giesick jumps off sides. Number 63, he's a right guard. You're going to see him, the ball doesn't snap, there's nothing moving there. He just takes off. See him? He just leaves. He can just hold it so long, and he says, I got to go. John Giesick is a local guy. It's funny, he's playing here, and his grandfather has had season tickets for like 25 years. His father is a 49er fan. He said that's the bad news, that he's a Cowboys and playing against the 49ers. The good news is he didn't have to get a lot of tickets because they have their own.
Season tickets, and have had forever. Aikman to throw. Quickly to Smith, who's wide open. 10, touchdown. Good block by Irvin to set it up.
These two drives have really meant something by this Dallas Cowboy team. They went in tight at halftime. Whatever they did, they made great adjustments. They did fine thinking, and then, of course, then the players come out and put it together. These have been two great drives by the Cowboys.
Great job, Emmett.
I tell you, that ball is going to be kept by Emmitt Smith. That's going to go in the box.
And locked. Elliott's extra point is good, and Dallas leads it 24-13. 14 plays, and they kept the ball 9 minutes in that drive. Good block by Irvin. Dallas 24, San Francisco 13, 12:25 left in the fourth quarter. These are Dallas' last 2 touchdown drives. They started at their own 22 and their own 21. Look at that last one. 9 minutes. They took off the game clock.
Those are championship drives. Those are drives that put you in Super Bowls. Those are drives that are made by adjustments by great coaches at halftime, too.
Grant at the 1. Cowboys are there. Darren Woodson will return to Candlestick Park after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
I think what happened on that last play, Novacek goes deep, takes air. Irvin goes deep, takes air. No one has Emmitt Smith. Romanowski went that way. I think he made the mistake because Emmitt Smith comes out here and he's all by himself. Novacek's a tight end. He goes deep. Irvin goes deep. And if you look right here, Emmitt Smith is wide open. And then when he gets the ball wide open in the open field, he's going to get it in the end zone.
The throw up the middle to Brent Jones, complete. Norton made the stop on Jones.
Yeah, and then Emmitt Smith is a guy who has saved every ball that he makes a touchdown with. What's the date on it? This is a championship ball.
Haley forces Young to run. And he can do that. Darren Woodson made the stop. 9 yards for Young.
Now the 49ers are going to have to go with no huddle the rest of this game, basically, because they know that they have to get 2 scores. And when you have to get 2, you want to get that first one as quickly as possible.
Young back to throw. Had some time that time. Behind Rathman, who couldn't hang on.
Hey, Steve Wallace and Charles Haley, though, are still having a fight there in the middle of the field. I mean, they were both going after each other, and both slipped in the ground. Look at Wallace, half of his right elbow's hanging out there. Here's Haley, Wallace at the bottom of the thing. Watch him, he tries to bull rush. So Wallace just bull rushes them back. They just get down and they start wrestling on the ground. There's no way Steve Wallace is going to let Haley get to Young.
Yesterday or Friday, when you asked Steve Wallace if he and Haley were friends, he just said we were. Not anymore. Gerard in motion. Young to Rice. Rice stays on his feet. Somehow. 9-yard pickup, Woodson and Lett.
Well, again, if the 49ers are going to have a chance and they need 2 scores here with just a little over 11 minutes to go, Jerry Rice is going to have to be the big factor. I mean, he's the guy, he's the playmaker, he's the guy, he's the big-time player. You got to get the ball to him, and he has to make plays now.
Young for the first down, gets it. The big cat, Leon Lett, in the bottom of the pile.
Yeah, big cat Leon Lett, they were saying is probably the best backup defensive lineman in football, and the way he comes in and pass rushes, I agree with that. I mean, he is a guy that is a young player now, and as he gets experience, he's going to be a real force.
Young to throw, under pressure. Up the middle, picked off by Norton. Norton still on his feet. He's got blockers. And down he goes at the 45. Brent Jones, the intended receiver. That's the 3rd San Francisco turnover.
I tell you, there's no way anyone's going to get that ball from Ken Norton. He's pushing guys away. You can give him a high five. You can shake his hand. But that could be the interception. That could be the play that put the 49ers away. He steps right in front of Brent Jones. Looked like Steve Young didn't see him at all because he threw it right to him. And there's no way that he is going to let that ball go. But just as he throws the ball, he gets hit. But I don't think that he saw Ken Norton at all.
I don't think he did either.
Maybe because he was getting hit.
Emmitt Smith. Smith to the 49ers 17. Griffin and Hall.
Yeah, that's a plan, and it's a heck of a plan. You get ahead, you get things going, and then you just give the game to Emmitt Smith. You let that line take control. Just control there. Now Emmitt Smith has his cutbacks. He has everything. When you give Emmitt Smith that cutback, that's the thing the 49ers were taken away early. I think this offensive line has worn down the defense of the 49ers, and the cutbacks are there now.
The man who made the interception, Ken Norton, Jr. Smith is over 100 yards, 109 and 20 carries. Emmitt Smith again. 21 carries, still 109. Fagan made the stop.
You know, interesting with Jimmy Johnson here, we know when he was at the University of Miami that he won a national championship. And there's never been a coach that's ever won a national championship and then gone on and won a Super Bowl. So Jimmy Johnson, if he goes on and wins the Super Bowl, can make history.
Well, to many in Dallas, he's already made history.
He's done an amazing job. I mean, this whole franchise, I mean, Jimmy Johnson, Jerry Jones, the team they put together, have done an amazing job.
Aikman back to throw to Novacek. Novacek still on his feet, out of bounds at about the 9 by Whitmore. 7-yard gain.
You know, you get down to the facts, and you know Jimmy Johnson can do this and this. Here's another one. Look at this. No team has ever made the Super Bowl with the NFL's leading rusher. And of course, Emmitt Smith is the NFL's leading rusher. And I think that's one that's going to be broken here today.
That one might change. George Seifert. Frustrating day for him.
I know he's going to go back to that play, that 3rd down play that they called holding on Emmitt Smith, gave the Cowboys a 1st down, but to win a championship, you have to get over those plays.
On 3rd down, Smith with the lead draw, might be a little bit short. Dana Hall came up and read it well.
Yeah, he was on a blitz. He was blitzing right in that hole. Again, when you think of the Cowboys running, it's between the tackles. So if you're going to blitz a safety, here comes Dana Hall. Just run them right into that hole between the tackles, and you'll probably run into the hole that they're going to run the football in. The only thing is, of course, if they ever fake that and throw the ball, then you're sitting there with no one to defend.
Brings up 4th down and about maybe a yard.
There was a moose there. I still think he was the most valuable player in the game. I know that he's not going to get any votes for most valuable player.
Well, he got yours.
Well, yeah, I mean, he got mine, but none that count. I mean, I think that now the 49er defense has been softened up.
Timeout,
and
Dallas.
I think that he was a guy that was a big part of softening up that defense.
24-13. Cowboys lead it with 7:13 left to play. Got some mud here.
And I'll tell you, there's some guys from this game that have made it.
Dallas going for the first down. The handoff is to Emmitt Smith. I don't know if he made it or not. Going to be close. Mike Walter, the first man to hit him.
Remember, 55 has a spot there with that right foot. You see it? He has to balance his right foot. He has to balance that right foot to get the ball down. He almost fell down trying to hold his spot.
A lot of motioning by the 49ers, and they hold.
And that's the one thing they've done a good job is playing short yardage. Just needed one more little roll there, and he couldn't get it.
49ers take over. Overhead Candlestick Park, and we'd like to say many thanks to our friends from Goodyear for providing these aerial pictures on what earlier was a very difficult day. Difficult day for the guys with the ball now. The 49ers at their own 6.5-yard line, trailing 24-13. Young to throw it. Just does get it out to Ricky Waters. Waters stays on his feet. First down, San Francisco at the 23. 17-yard gain. Ricky Waters tripped up by Everett.
And the 49ers going here with no huddle. They really did an outstanding job defense here, you know, on that 4th down play to get a couple more shots here.
Waters again. Broke one tackle, breaks another one, and struggles out to about the 34. That's good running.
And he's doing his part to fire this 49er team up again. I would think the thing that would really fire him up, again going no huddle here, the thing that would really fire him up is hit a big one to Jerry Rice.
First down. Young outside to Rice, who gets it out of bounds and stops the clock. Kenneth Gant wrestled him to the ground.
You know, you can do that to a team. They come on, they're starting to celebrate, then you don't get the 4th down team. You don't get the 4th down, then you come right back in, and the defense really doesn't have that same intensity that they had. And if you can hit them quickly before they get it back, you have a chance to get one.
Clock running again. 5:50 left to play. Young has him out of the huddle and ready to go. Outside, a lot of room. Mike Sherrard this time, and they move into Dallas territory at the 40.
I think Sherrard did the right thing there. You could have tried to get out of bounds to stop the clock, but you need a touchdown. You have to make a big play here, so instead of just running out of bounds, he tried to make that cut back against the grain, maybe break a tackle and take it all away. I think every 49er has to do that now.
15-yard gain. Young again has this one batted down. Leon Lett.
Leon Lett does that so well. You know, he was a basketball player. In fact, the Cowboys signed him or found him on a basketball court where they saw him dribble the length of the court and then stuff the basketball. But that one there was just a bad pass by Steve Young. I mean, that thing never got off the ground. I think that hit Guy McIntyre in the back of the head.
Before it hit Leon Lett.
Yeah, you got to get it over your guards.
2nd and 10. Rice wide right. Young has to come out of the pocket and does. Looking deep, looking over the middle, has Brent Jones complete to about the 23. Stopped by Norton. That's a good effort by Steve Young.
And he was trying to throw to Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice was lined up on the right side, and he was going deep. And the Cowboys were smart. They had Jerry Rice double covered.
If they're smart, they'll do that every down from now on.
I think so. The rest of the game, they'd have two and get him a bump and everything.
Young back to throw. He hits Waters. Waters to the 12. Another 49er first down. Timeout, San Francisco.
Yeah, when you think of these drives and you think of the 49ers coming back, you think of this guy here, Joe Montana. He was the greatest at it.
Right now on CBS, the NFC Championship game. 24-13, Dallas leading San Francisco. First down, 49ers. Young back to throw. Blitz, and they get it out to Waters. Waters out of bounds at about the 5.5-yard line by Larry Brown. 7-yard pickup.
You know, again, you talk about a game and momentum changers, and that goal line defense, that fourth down defense down on the other end set up this whole thing. And then the 49ers came out, and they had this move here without a huddle. Steve Young has been very, very effective.
Young is 21 out of 27 on the day. Here's his 28th effort. Touchdown, Rice.
Now things tighten up on that Cowboy sideline. Because they think, you know, had they kicked a field goal, 2 touchdowns, they could have tied. Now they're thinking 2 touchdowns they could lose. The 49ers have got one of the touchdowns. You get down here, any big play, like I said, you need a playmaker. The playmaker of the 49ers is Jerry Rice. If the 49ers are going to win the game, Jerry Rice has to be the guy that plays the biggest part.
Kofer for the all-important extra point here. 24-20.
Watch this replay here and just watch Steve Young's eyes. If you don't think that this is a big game and this is a competitor and this is a guy who's looking for his playmaker, then you aren't watching Steve Young's eyes.
9 plays, 93 yards. Rice was chased by Mickey Pruitt. And that's a race that Rice is going to win every time.
You have a linebacker on Jerry Rice, he's always going to be chasing him. He went all the way across the field, started on the right-hand side, went over to the left. Now the Cowboys and 49ers both have their special teams on the sideline. And I know what they're talking about. They're talking about onside kick. Do the 49ers onside kick? Do the Cowboys get in an onside kick prevent? The 49ers, I don't think, will onside kick, but the Cowboys will get in an onside prevent. This is what they call their hands team. You have 9 guys up, you fill all the holes for an onside kick.
Doesn't take those 49ers long to move the length of the field.
And I think because the Cowboys are in this onside prevent, you see that they got 9 guys up there in the front. I think the 49ers will kick deep. I think they would anyway with 4 minutes, 22 seconds, and 2 timeouts left.
Steve Young, by the way, was 8 out of 9 on that drive, and they do kick deep. Kevin Smith. Dancing out to the 20. Martin Harrison down to make the stop. First down, Dallas at their own 20. The Cowboys lead the 49ers 24-20.
Now we got a championship game. This is what it's all about. 4 minutes to go. The losing team is out. The winning team goes to the Super Bowl. The Cowboys were that close to put them away. They got a 4th down play. They didn't do it. And now they let the 49ers back in the game. And now they have a heck of a fight in their hands.
1st and 10, Dallas. Smith and Johnston behind Aikman. Aikman quickly. The pass to Harper. Harper off to the races. They're going to run him down, however. At about the 9-yard line, Dana Hall.
That was a heck of a call. That was a heck of a throw by Troy Aikman. Everyone had to do it. Someone had to call it, but the other guys had to make it go. Watch Alvin Harper. He's out here. He's going to come up, then he's going to come to the inside on a slant. The ball is right there, thrown perfectly. Don Griffin, who was covering him, fell down, and then Harper was off to the races. There's Norv Turner. He's the offensive coordinator. He's the guy that called the play. In fact, he's starting to feel so good, he just hits his pants like Nate Newton and stood up to watch this game.
I don't know if he feels that good quite yet.
I don't know. That was a big play, though, Pat.
First and goal at the 9. Fake to Smith. Throw in the end zone, incomplete. Intended for Darrell Johnston. Incomplete.
Darrell Johnston hasn't been this much part of a game plan since he left Syracuse University. And we talk about most valuable player, and again, you know, he's done so many things in this game, so many of the hard things, and he's not going to get any votes for most valuable player. But we're talking about the All-Madden team next week. I think we can find a spot for him on that team, Pat.
I think so. Second and goal. Now he lines up at tight end. Emmett Smith, the ball carrier, gets to about the 6, stopped by Fagan and Romanowski. 3:50 left in the game.
I'll guarantee you now, if Jimmy Johnson gets 4, well, I won't guarantee anything, but I would think after dodging that bullet, if the Cowboys get a 4th down here again, they'll probably kick a field goal.
3rd and 6 at the 6. This game is presented by authority of the National Football League. This CBS telecast is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of CBS, the San Francisco 49ers, and the National Football League is prohibited.
And we saw a shot of Jimmy Johnson there, and he believes that in football you have to have momentum changers. He had the momentum, lost the momentum, and then his momentum changer was that pass to Alvin Harper.
Harper is split wide left this time. Irvin right. Aikman to throw. Kelvin Martin, touchdown. That was close. That last little lunge got him in.
Good pass protection. Troy Aikman has good time. He can step up and throw that and put everything on it to Kelvin Martin. And like you said, right there, that last little lunge got the ball to break the plane to the goal line.
Much discussion by the 49ers and the officials, but touchdown has been signaled again. Another ball that'll go in the trunk.
And Kelvin Martin has been a big part of this Cowboy team. He's one of those guys who's not a starter, but he is a guy that is a 3rd wide receiver. And when he comes in as a 3rd wide receiver, he's the guy they go to for touchdowns and for getting first downs on 3rd down.
Well, that discussion is continuing.
Well, you don't know what they're discussing. There's no instant replay, so they can't be talking about what happened. That's a touchdown. It's ball, and the ball has to break the plane. You watch again, his knee's not down yet, and then right there, the ball touches the plane.
We didn't hear what, and you didn't hear what Jerry Markbright had said. It had nothing to do with the fact that it was a touchdown. It was called unsportsmanlike conduct against the 49ers. It'll be enforced on the Dallas kickoff. High snap. And the extra point is blocked. Berline couldn't get it down before Elliott got there.
And anytime you think of Troy Aikman from UCLA, it's hard to imagine that he's really from Oklahoma.
Right. Henrietta. Elliott's kickoff out of the end zone. Last time two visiting teams went to the Super Bowl, it was back in 1966. Green Bay and Kansas City, Super Bowl #1. I was there. Was not a sellout.
I remember that one. That was Hank Scram at that time coaching Kansas City. Vince Lombardi, of course, the Green Bay Packers.
That would be the two teams, of course, that are visiting teams in the championship game. Green Bay beat Dallas that year to get there. Waters on the draw play. Breaks out of the pack, but they keep him in bounds. 3.5 minutes left to play. Kevin Smith made the stop. 9-yard gain for Waters.
You know, this defense is playing there now for the Cowboys as their nickel defense, and I think that's the best part of their defense.
And they get to Young. Indicates just what you said. Casillas.
Well, you know, now they have the good pass rush. They know that the 49ers have to pass all the time. Haley is coming from Steve Young's backside. He was the guy. He was the first guy there. He was the guy that made Steve Young put the ball down.
3 minutes left. 3rd and 8.
But this defensive team plays so well, and they're so well coached by Dave Wannstedt.
Young stepped up. John Taylor. And John Taylor is tough to get down. Finally is by Darren Woodson. Flag on the play.
They were just talking about Darren Woodson, number 28. He's one of the guys that makes this nickel defense so good because he's kind of a half linebacker, half safety, and he's an excellent tackler. All those guys that are out there now for the Cowboys are good tacklers.
There was no flag. And Young stops the clock.
And here's Dave Wannstedt right here, and the defensive coordinator of this defense that has been the #1 defense in football. And this season will probably be his last season with the Cowboys because he's going to be a head coach in this league next year. And he's already talked to 3 teams, the Giants, the Denver Broncos, and the Chicago Bears.
2nd and 10. Young to throw it. Again steps up. Again finds Rice. 1st down San Francisco. 2 minutes 18 seconds left to play. 30-20 Dallas.
Yeah, there's a point where you get in a game that you realize that your season is over, and there's a point in a game that you realize you're going to the Super Bowl, and those are extremes of emotions.
Pass is picked off by Washington. And Dallas will take over. Sherrard was the intended receiver. We have 2 minutes left at Candlestick, and the Cowboys are up by 10. That's the 4th San Francisco turnover.
Here's a guy, Pat, that we might have to consider right there, George Toma. He's a guy that came in here. This field was impossible, impossible. There was no way you could play football. They worked all week, and I'll tell you, the field here today is not a story. Like there's George Toma. He's being interviewed right now.
There's someone called George Toma the Marquis de Sade. There is Jerry Jones.
And I'll tell you, he is a happy man. He knew that when he bought this team, it was going to be a real fight, a lot of work, but he did it, and he did it his way.
Now you look back at all they've done. The rainbow behind the stands, behind the Cowboy bench, and that's where it belongs. And the pot of gold down at the bottom of that rainbow for that bunch of guys in blue and white.
I'll tell you one thing about this team and these players. You have to realize that they're the youngest team in the National Football League, the Cowboys are, and I don't think that they're going to be affected by all the hoopla. And if they were, their coach, Jimmy Johnson, won't let them be affected by it.
No, he's an artist at that.
Look at that. They got the hats out already. That's amazing the way these guys get hats. I have no idea where they get this stuff. Look, they already got championship hats.
That's some very astute marketing expert.
Yeah.
That's already got those hats.
Yeah, you can wear 2 at a time, especially if you got a big interception towards the end of the game like Ken Norton did.
A minute left. That should tell you the story.
Well, it's a finality. You know coming in that you're this far away. You're one game away from the Super Bowl. And every team in football starts out to get to the Super Bowl, then to win the Super Bowl. And when you don't get there, you have to think about it the whole offseason. When you do get there, right now there's no better feeling than those Cowboys are having.
And you got a lot of good friends on that sideline.
I think Jimmy Johnson got some kind of bath there. Because I've never seen Jimmy Johnson ever wet. I've never seen him sweat, and I think they got him.
Well, you know something happened. His hair's messed up.
I think they just poured some water down his pants. He's even talking nice to the officials on that one.
Had a pretty good vertical jump. Well, boy.
That's a battle scene. This was a football game. This was a championship game. This is a game you could see coming all year. You knew that these were the two best teams in football. And people had argued that it was the 49ers or the Cowboys. Today, here in Candlestick, the Cowboys proved that they were the best team.
49ers out of timeout. Saxon standing back in punt formation. With Grant deep for the 49ers. Signaled fair catch, so that'll stop the clock right there.
They have caps, and now they've got T-shirts back.
Pasadena in the Rose Bowl. The Cowboys are headed for you against Buffalo.
NFC Championship.
There's my guy Eric Williams, that big tackle. He did a heck of a job today.
So did he. Daryl Johnston, Joe Montana. How many of these games has he looked at?
And you wonder if this might be his last game in a 49er uniform.
You think so?
Well, we talked to him last week. He said it's up to the 49ers, but if he doesn't play, I don't think he'll be back here.
Young, the lateral out to Waters. Waters gets out of bounds. 9 seconds left to play.
Charles Haley has to be a happy guy, too. I mean, he's a guy who started this year with the 49ers. He's been to a couple Super Bowls with the 49ers. You know, this week all the Cowboys wanted to see his Super Bowl rings, and he wouldn't show it to him. He said, I'm not going to show you mine. He said, go earn one.
When you get yours, you'll see what the Super Bowl rings look like, or when we get ours, I should say.
Yeah, he wasn't going to bring out any of his old rings to show these guys.
Pass incomplete. Intended for Sherrard. And there's the shark dance.
All he did was knock down the ball. The guy before him, though, Emmitt Smith, you have to give him so much credit that there was a point in this game where it had to be won, and they just gave the ball to Emmitt Smith, and he went out and did it. And I think the offensive line did an outstanding job. They softened everything up. The defense of Dave Wanstad, he gets to relax down there now. He's had the #1 defense all year. But doggone it, you've got to get to the Super Bowl too, and they did that.
Ball goes out of bounds with no time left on the clock, and the Cowboys advance to the Super Bowl. They'll face the Buffalo Bills, who also came back from being way down. They did it this year. Did Buffalo. Dallas, well, they've achieved remarkable things.
And our congratulations to both teams, to the Cowboys for winning the championship here, for the Buffalo Bills for winning the AFC Championship.
This NFL Films production has been brought to you by NFL Network. Watch the National Football League 24 hours a day on NFL Network.